These are shark-infested waters. Danger lurks all around. There are sharks circling you right now. Is this the Pacific? The South China Sea? No. This is the business insurance industry. Don't take chances with your business insurance. Call High House Insurance, your local business insurance experts. We don't pay to be on comparison websites, so your premiums are better value. For a free no-obligation quote, call Selsey 606 552. High House, local, reliable insurance. High Street, Selsey.
And welcome to Selsey Internet Radio, the voice of our community, and we'd also like to welcome our friends along the coast at South Waves. Hello, Jamie. Hope you're listening to this and your people. And we have Lynn Reeve to do What's On in the community. Hello, Lynn.
Hello there. How are you, Dennis?
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah, good. And me too. What a lovely day again.
It isn't, yeah.
It is, isn't it? I'm going to kick off with Wednesday the 3rd of June and the Crafty Natter Club. June already. Can you believe June already?
Almost.
Where's the summer been? Has it gone now? Has it
been
gone?
asking
Been and
me
gone?
about that one, yes.
Yeah. Was that the last Sunday when we had that nice day?
It possibly was.
Yeah. The Crafty Natter Club will meet in the large hall of the Selsey Methodist Church from 2 to 4 p.m. with transport by the Venture Club for members. Cost is just £1 a meeting, tea, coffee and a biscuit to be enjoyed whilst working. And for more information, why not, contact Lisa Allinson on 601 032. That's the Crafty Natter Club.
The Natter Club.
The Natter Club.
Yes.
I like the idea of that. You just get together and
A bit
have a
of a
natter.
natter.
I like a bit of a natter. And I like tea and coffee. Well, tea.
Well,
tea and a biscuit.
Yes. We're doing that now, Lynn.
We're doing that
right?
now.
Yes.
Okay.
Go for it.
You're putting the kettle on? Maybe not. On Thursday the 4th.
There used to be a
of
tea
June,
made. Right. Go on, Lynn.
I can just see you in the. Yeah, never mind.
Our listeners will have fallen over. They'll be on the floor now.
I could just see you with the black and white apron, that was all.
Oh, yes.
On Thursday the 4th of June, Selsey and District Carers Support Group will be having the first coffee morning of the month at 109 High Street from 10:30am, and everybody is welcome to drop along in there. Another cup of coffee. Here we go again with all this entertainment. We're such an entertaining lot in Selsey, you know. We're so...
Are we?
Yeah, we are. We give out coffee and tea like it's, you know.
The refreshments entertainment.
The refreshments entertainment.
Right.
We are very good hosts, I think. On Thursday the 4th of June, the Selsey Voluntary Hearing Aid Centre is available at the Selsey Medical Centre on the 1st and 3rd Thursday of each month from 2 till 4 o'clock. Do they give out hearing? I don't know what the Selsey Voluntary Hearing Aid Centre is about. Somebody would like to let us know, that would be great. But it sounds to me, doesn't it sound that if you've got a problem with your hearing, you can just go along and get some hearing aids or batteries or things like that.
Or do they do this thing with the little bit in your ear?
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, it's there on the 1st and 3rd Thursday of each month from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Selsey Medical Centre. On Thursday the 4th, Seal Island WI meet at the Selsey Centre, and meetings start at 7:30 p.m. All ladies are most welcome, so that's no gentlemen, please, just all ladies, on telephone 604 059 for any further information in regards to the evening's events. On Friday the 5th of June, the Derby and Joan Club would love to welcome you. A good time to be had by all with a fun bingo session and a nice cup of tea between 2 and 4 p.m. in St. Peter's Church Hall. For more information, please ring Jill Evendon on 604 187.
I wonder if they'll be doing this bingo in 100 years' time.
I'm sure they will.
And,
I'm sure it'll be
Darby and Joan,
different.
that couple, will still be doing their thing.
Why not? Hey,
Yes.
why not?
Why not?
Why not indeed?
Darby's not a very popular name nowadays, is it?
Derby.
Joan is,
Darby and Joan.
I've never heard of a Derby actually in real life. No, I've not. I wonder where that came from.
That was John coming in on the studio there.
Hello, John.
Oh,
On Saturday the 6th of June, the first Selsey Scout Group charity shop in Scout Headquarters in School Lane will be open from 10 till 12 noon, where you will find bric-a-brac, books, clothes, etc., and donations of saleable quality goods are always welcome. Please phone Deb's Clothier on 607 409. Again, on Saturday the 6th of June, Saturdays are always quite busy in Selsey, really. A reminder that the Friends of the Medical Centre will be holding their annual general meeting in the Selsey Medical Centre at 10:30 a.m. Please note that this is for members only and not for outsiders. But if you want to become a friend of the medical centre, I believe it's quite easy to do, quite useful too.
You always get yourself a membership.
Yeah. On Sunday the 7th of June, Selsey Model Boat Club will be meeting at East Beach Pond from 10 until 12. The first Sunday of each month is race day and new members welcome, or just pop along to have a look and to chat. I don't mind actually watching those boatmen down there doing their little bit of racing. It's quite good fun.
How big is this racing pool?
But the pond?
Yes, how big is it?
The pond is quite a large pond, isn't it? It is. I mean, yeah, but the Swan's on there at the moment. I think she's got 7 signets left now, hasn't she?
Well, there was 8 yesterday.
I counted 7 this morning. I was hoping that one hasn't gone overnight, but there was 7 little signets this morning.
Has it got a little island on it?
Yes, it has, yeah. Yeah, it's quite sweet.
Hyde Park.
Hyde Park. Not quite Hyde Park.
Not quite.
Doesn't look like Hyde Park.
Those boats going
The Selsey version of Hyde Park.
There's no large boats. There's
Oh.
model boats.
They're just model boats, but it's quite good fun to watch.
I can't put my yacht there. Go.
I've got one that I put in the bath as well, Dennis.
There you
about
are.
3 inches long,
One of those secrets that Lynn has been keeping.
along with my ducks. So that's really all we've got on in Selsey for the following week, unless, of course, anybody knows any difference and wants to give us a call with it. Please let us have your events and things that are happening.
Yes.
Or if anybody's got a special birthday, perhaps,
True.
celebration, anything like that they want to mention, please ring in. We'd love to hear from you.
Right, so you listeners, go to the site, look for a phone number, look for an email, and come back to us with what you know, what you don't know, and what you may know. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Dennis.
That was super.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, good morning. In the studio this morning, we've got Bev Tinson, who's the chair of the Selsey Medical Practice Patients Participation Group. That's quite a mouthful, Bev, isn't it?
It
Patients
is.
Partici-
It is, yes.
So you're actually saying PPG
we
instead.
refer to it as PPG.
Yeah.
But we realise that perhaps to begin with, people might not understand what that is. But so Patients Participation Group, or PPG.
PPG.
Yeah.
What exactly is the Patients Participation Group? What does it do?
Well, firstly, it's a group run by patients, for patients in the wider community. And we act as a link between our patients and the admin staff and the GPs
Right.
in the practice.
Okay, good.
And its main purpose really is to ensure that the patient's perspective is at the heart of the services and provision in our practice. So it means it gives us as patients the opportunity to have a voice.
Yes.
And to say what we'd like to see, what might need improving, and how we can get the wider public as patients in our community to engage more and understand what is on offer to us all.
And gives them somebody to engage with as well.
Absolutely,
doesn't it? They've got
yes.
a point of call
Yes,
there, haven't they?
yeah.
A point of service.
So we sort of act as, if you like, the middleman.
Yeah.
We're formed of, there's 7 of us to start with on what we call a steering group. And 5 of us are patients.
Yes.
The other person is Nicola Collins, our practice manager.
Oh, yes.
And one of our GPs, Dr. Rachel Jameson.
Oh, yes. I know.
So we formed a steering group, but we've also got the help of 37 other patients
Wow.
out there at the moment. We're hoping to expand on that. And they are what we call the Patients Reference Group. So they're the people, if you like, our foot soldiers who can get the views of other patients in the community as to what they'd like to see happening and what they'd like to develop. And then the Patients Reference Group feed into us, which we then take to the...
Can anybody join that group?
They can, yes. And what we're going to be doing, because we're mentioning in a moment about what's happening next week, this awareness week, we're asking the wider patient population of Selsey to come forward, come and see us and be part of the patient reference group. So that when they're talking to friends, family, colleagues, if there's any particular things they'd like to see developed in our own practice, if they have suggestions for improvements, then they can let us know, and then we take that back to the GPs.
Wonderful. What a lovely idea, isn't it?
It is.
When did it start?
We had our informal meetings, I suppose, about October time last year, A couple of us got together, and then some more people came on board. And then by December, end of December, we'd more or less decided that we had the right number on the steering group, and we finalised our terms of reference. And since then, we've been meeting sort of on a monthly basis.
And what have you been working on?
Well, the sort of things that we've been working on, we've been creating or helping the practice to create the new 2015 annual patient survey.
Yes.
Which is obviously a very important thing for any organisation. Absolutely. The one they put out last year, there wasn't much response, but we're hoping to at least triple the response this year. So the survey actually launches next week during this awareness week. The other thing we've been doing is working closely with the admin team and the GPs to look at ways of perhaps improving the appointment system.
Oh gosh, that's a big subject, isn't it?
It is, yes, and not just for our practice.
No, for every practice.
There's most practices now around the country have got a PPG group.
Yes.
And that is one of the things that every practice is looking at, their appointment system.
I actually did the reception job at the Selsey Medical Practice for a couple of months there, going back a couple of years, and I can tell you it's a very, very hard job to do.
It is,
and it's so frustrating because you don't actually have those appointments to be able to give out to people.
No.
So it is very frustrating for both the patient and the
absolutely. So as a result of that, some of the GPs now are looking at releasing more appointments at different points. And of course, as you probably well know yourself, Lynn, at 8:30 in the morning when everybody's trying to ring in, which is so frustrating for people who are trying to get off to work as well, and they can't hold that long on the phone. That's one of the things we've been looking at. Yeah. We've also been working out how we can promote the facility to our wider patients that they can register for patient online access. So if they've got access to the internet.
I've heard about that.
Yes,
Can they actually make appointments online?
You can, yes. You can make appointments, you can choose which GP, you can choose your slot.
Yes.
And not only that, it also means if you have to have repeat prescriptions, which that all links in with this new system that's come out in May called e-prescriptions, which is to do with the chemists as well. So if people can register online for their appointments, it takes a lot of the burden off of having to either go there to make an appointment or wait in the telephone queue.
Of course it does. Of course, that would just be that wouldn't be for things like emergencies, would it? That would be for somebody who doesn't mind the wait.
That's it. Yeah, you might just want a normal follow-up appointment saying you've had new medication and you need to see the doctor again in 2-3 weeks' time. So it's that sort of thing. The other thing we've been looking at is patients might not be aware, but they can access their medical records.
Yes.
And we've, again, during the awareness week next week, we'll be explaining how you can make that happen. And so you go to the receptionist and she'll give you a password. So then it allows you to look at your summary care record, if you like. But what patients might not be aware of is that apart from us viewing our care records, there are other agencies that can look at our records. So we're trying to make patients aware that they can opt out
of those.
What
kind of other agencies then?
Well, there's particular agencies, we've all had it, where suddenly you find that you receive letters about health insurance because you're a particular age or funeral plans.
Yeah. It's depressing, isn't it?
It is,
when
actually.
you get to that age where you start getting those letters.
Yeah, so by opting out, you can pick up a form in the surgery, and there's 3 boxes which you can leave the first one unticked if you're happy for your normal summary care records to be accessed by other medical professions. Then the other 2 boxes you can tick if you don't want certain agencies looking. So that's important for everybody.
Is it just the summary care record that you're able to see? Are you allowed
your
to
GP,
see?
it will eventually show all the notes your GP makes as well. So,
so it will do that.
Yeah. And then the other thing we're working closely on, we're actually linking up with Macmillan because we are looking at setting up a cancer support group in the practice.
That would be really good.
And it would mean patient with cancer, their family, their carers, cancer survivors, instead of having to go out of Selsey for that sort of support, if we can bring it in
much needed, I would
to
think.
the medical centre,
much needed.
it will probably benefit a lot of people.
Yeah, very much so.
And we're looking at starting that off by having a coffee morning round about August time.
Oh, yeah.
To see what the take-up is. And then from that, we hope that those that want to be part of this cancer support group, they can take ownership, and they might say, well, we'd benefit if we could have some holistic or alternative therapies as well. And then the PPG group will try and get those other providers in, so like
great.
hand massage, Reiki and that sort of thing. So that's just an example of what we're also doing, trying to set up other groups.
So you're not just really looking for people that are going through cancer at the moment, you're looking for their supporters, their family.
Yes.
And survivors.
And survivors, of course, because they're the people that will then be able to engage with cancer sufferers and say, well, this worked for me. No, that didn't work for me, and
There's
so forth.
nothing like talking to somebody who's been through it, is there, really, when you're going through something?
Absolutely,
so,
no.
yeah, such a good idea this is.
And then the other thing that's current is we've been preparing for what's called Patients Participation Awareness Week, which starts next week.
Yes, that starts on the 1st of June, I see, and that goes on to the 6th of June.
Yes.
And what are you going to be doing that week then?
Okay, well, the 1st to the 6th of June, that's National Patient Participation Awareness Week, so all over the country. And what we're doing in particular, perhaps we're not going to be so active because we're only an early group that have set up. But certainly what we've done to start with, a couple of articles have gone out, one to Selsey Life, one to Local Life magazines. There are some posters that have been put up around the town. And what we're going to do is have an actual static display in the waiting area in the medical centre. And on there will be information about who we are, what we do, and how we are working with the wider patient population. And hopefully, we'll be encouraging people to become members of our patient reference group. And we'll also sort of be promoting the work we have been doing, things like the survey. That will be launched, so that will be there. We'll be handing that out to people. We'll also be offering them leaflets so that they can see how they can benefit if they do register for online access. We'll also be telling them about how they can opt out of what we just said, these care records. They can pick up the latest copy of the practice newsletter.
Wonderful.
Because not everybody gets that.
No.
Only those that are registered for online access. But more importantly, people can find out how they can actually get involved with us and how they can influence the services, the practicalities, what changes they feel might be beneficial. And like we said earlier, they might have ideas about what groups could be set up.
Yeah, well, Bev, you're in the chair of the PPG.
I'm in the chair, yes.
So what would you say then was probably, how would you see this as really, what are the benefits? What are the real benefits of a PPG?
The real benefits, I personally would say, it allows us as patients to have a voice.
Yes.
About the service or the provisions we'd like to see in our own practice. I think nowadays we are all becoming more aware of our own health and what we as individuals can do.
Yes, we are. We all are.
I think it's important to say that a PPG is certainly not a sounding board for complaints.
Yes.
Because there is a proper channel for complaints to be made. But we can at least direct people down that route if there is something that they consider they wish to complain about. The other benefits I see is that our plans for later on in the year, we're planning to have some health events, maybe 2 separate evenings in the year, whereby we invite the wider patient population in. And it's sessions like these that can help people become aware of how they can be responsible for their own health, as we said earlier. The sessions as examples that we'd like to get in is maybe a guest speaker to talk about the use of antibiotics.
Yes.
Which can be very controversial,
Yes,
can't
of
it,
course,
from a
yeah.
patient's point of view and a GP. Other sessions might be what we need to know about sugar, our blood pressure,
Yeah.
viral
Lots of
illnesses,
things like that.
our weight and our BMI. But also, we could also get a guest speaker in from the clinical commissioning groups who can explain to us as wider patients the relationship between the NHS and our practice,
Yes.
how they work together.
Yeah.
Because we do know that when a medical practice has a contract with the NHS, there are mandatory or core services they have to deliver. We're very fortunate in our practice in as much that our practice has chosen to deliver a lot of additional ones as well, that they're not compelled to, but they do.
But a lot of people don't really know what happens
No.
in that surgery,
No.
do they?
No.
They get an appointment, they go in, they see the doctor, they come away.
That's it.
And they're not really aware of what they can get from the
No,
surgery.
no,
So
that's
it's
it.
a good way then of making
Yes.
it known.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So explaining to people really the relationship between us
Yeah.
as a local practice and then the hospitals, and maybe how the practice is funded from the clinical commissioning groups,
Yes.
etc. So, and then what the practice puts on that's privately funded by other organisations. So those sort of things. So I think if we can have some health events,
Yes.
which
Which in turn makes the patient more aware of what
does.
is available.
Absolutely,
doesn't it? As for their own care and
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Just clarify for me who might be interested in joining this group then, and how can they get involved?
Right, okay. Well, basically, anybody aged 16 plus
Yes.
who is registered with the practice and who feels they'd like to be actively involved in having a say
Yes.
as to what services and provision is there for us, or maybe people who have got some innovative ideas that they've seen happen in other practices. And really anybody that feels that they want to be more aware as to what's
Yeah.
on offer.
Yeah.
And the way people can get in touch with us is, it'd be nice if as many people as possible could pop along to the Awareness Week next week, because we are planning to have at least one of us as a PPG group member present at our display. They can talk to us, pick up leaflets, or they can pop into the surgery, talk to the receptionist and say, I'm interested in becoming part of the PPG group, and the receptionist will give them one of our leaflets where they can register their interest, and then I contact them and say, well, come to one of our meetings. Or they can check the medical centre website, which is www.selseymedicalpractice.co.uk, and there's a link on the right hand side of the homepage to the patients' participation group.
Well, you know what, Bev? I think this sounds like just what the practice itself needs up there, doesn't it? It really does. This is going to sort of bridge a gap between what's not known and what is known within the surgery.
Absolutely.
And
I
it's a
think,
really good idea.
yes, and I think we have to be honest, we are an increasing community.
Yeah.
We are going to increase even more.
And you're merging as well up there, aren't
There
they?
is the merger now, yes, and there's, because the other side, the SEAL group,
Yes.
at present don't have a PPG group.
No.
But our PPG group that was set up on the Selsey side, there's no reason why it can't.
You can't expand it across, can you?
No,
Because you're all going to be one.
Absolutely, and it's the same services. And with the merger, yes, we've all had our letter, we've all seen the questions on the back. And I think, we're very lucky here in Selsey when you look at what is there for us. We've got doctors on either side with specialisms, which can
Yes,
now
you've
be
got a wide
bought.
range
We
now,
have.
yeah.
We've got the eye specialist.
Yes.
We've got the skin specialist.
Yeah, very much so.
So we've got the rheumatoid specialist. which in fact reminds me of what somebody said. It would be lovely to have a rheumatoid clinic there instead of people having to go to Bognor War Memorial Hospital.
But where would you stop? You see?
Where would you stop?
Where would you
Absolutely.
stop? There's so much need,
Absolutely.
isn't there? Where would you stop?
And we're very pleased to be working with lovely people in the
Yes.
practice, lovely admin staff, excellent doctors, and you know, they have got increasing demand, not just locally, but via the NHS. And if we can help them in any way, I'm sure that the whole of Selsey will benefit.
Thank you very much, Bev. And I want to say that we're not only lucky in having them, we're also lucky to have people like you who sit there and put it all together and get it going. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to promote it all.
Thank you, Bev.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
And this is Selsey Radio, internet radio actually, and we have Peter Kinch in the studio of the Selsey Venture Club. And hello, Peter.
Hello.
And Peter's going to talk about the Venture Club, which started in 1967 to assist over 60 or disabled residents to take part in the life of the village. Peter.
That's right. It was started by a gentleman called Clifford Rhodes, who was concerned at that time that people weren't able to get out and go to various events in the village. And he got together with some like-minded people and started the service with one second-hand minibus. And 50 years later, or nearly 50 years later, we are still carrying on that work.
With much bigger buses.
We've got now 4 buses, bigger buses.
Very expensive looking buses.
They do cost a bit, yes. And they are all equipped with lifts, so that less mobile people and people who use wheelchairs can use the buses as well.
You're ready for anything?
Almost.
Almost. Who is the almost?
So, yes, and we provide basically door-to-door service. Has to be pre-booked. We can't pick up people
No, I was going to say
casually off the street, you know.
Do they ring you then on a number? Do they?
Yes. The Venture Club's number is 605 115, and our office is open between 9:30 and 11:30 in the mornings, and 2:30 and 4 in the afternoons.
Right.
And just Saturday morning, not in the afternoon Saturday. To use the buses, people need to be a member of the Venture Club, which costs £10 per year, and for that they can use the buses as many times as they like, so it's just a one-off payment, and after that it's all free.
Well, that's not bad, £10 a year.
It's very reasonable, I think. It is set deliberately low, actually, to encourage people to use the service.
And the club is a registered charity, it says, yes?
We are a registered charity, yes.
How many volunteers do you have?
About 60. Doing various different things. Drivers, office staff, people who raise the money. It's surprising how many people it takes, actually.
Right. And Peter is the chairman of Selsey Venture Club.
That's right. About the last 3 years.
And you do other things, right, other than the bus? You sell clothes and
Yes.
stuff like that?
As I just said, we're a charity, we're a registered charity, and we're independent. We don't get any grants from anybody, so we have to raise all the money we require.
That's a bit of a tight ship to run.
Oh, yes. So to do that, money comes from various sources, but the main source of income is from the sale of donated items, clothing, furniture, household items, you name it, we'll sell it.
Where do you sell that?
At the Venture Club, which is next door to the co-op.
Oh, yes, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. They're open on Wednesday mornings and Saturday mornings for the sale of clothes and small items.
That's good to know.
On Saturday mornings for the furniture and larger items as well. So, we can do with supporting people coming to buy things and also to donate items to us. Unfortunately, we can't always take large items of furniture because of
Well, you've got so much space, haven't
lack
you?
of storage space. Yes,
Because your coaches go in there, don't they?
well, yes, when we could get them in.
Because I know where you are.
Yeah,
You're on that sort of bit.
that's right.
To the right of the
Right
co-op.
to the co-op.
Yeah.
Yes, we are slightly restricted in what we can take, but that is where most of our income comes from,
And that lovely odd donation in an envelope.
oh yes, that goes down well as
You can fit that in
you can,
anywhere.
yes.
What about regular services? You say runners listed below.
Yes, we on Sundays we take people to the church services on Sunday mornings, and then on Tuesday and Friday mornings we take people into the village to do their shopping or go to the bank or whatever. And our club room is open then for them to have the opportunity of a cup of coffee and a chat before they go home. We do one trip into Chichester a week on a Thursday morning into central Chichester.
Is that a shopping trip or something?
It's a limited shopping trip.
Limited.
People can't take too much shopping on it because of lack of space. And then most of our other regular services are taking people to the various organisations in the village.
Yeah, you've got some special ones here, like the monthly Monday Royal British Legion Ladies Meetings.
That's right, yes. The Evergreen Club,
Evergreen, yes.
Derby and Joan Club, Visually Impaired, Crafty Nutter,
You've got a list, yes.
Fitter Cities,
Link,
Diabetic
Group,
yes, Torch Trust for the Blind,
Evangelical,
yes, Horticultural Society,
and the Blind.
and
Let's not forget them, Peter.
sorry,
We do the blind one as well.
I did. I think I did mention that. Such a list of them.
Such a list.
And we also do buses to sort of special one-off events in the village as well. Some of the Selsey Festival events, and last weekend we did a bus for the St Peter's Church Fair, and we do occasional outings as well, but we can't fit too many of those in the year.
So are you quite busy during the day then?
Oh yes. Buses are out most days.
Yeah.
You know, people see them around quite a bit.
And can people hire them?
No, we can't hire them. No. Well, our insurance and operating licences don't allow us to do that.
And what ages do you cater for?
To use the buses, basically over 60, or if disabled in any way, then there's no age restriction.
And you're a driver yourself here, Peter?
I do drive myself, yes. Yes, that was how I started getting involved with it. As I said, I think we have about 60 volunteers altogether, and about 25 of those are drivers. At the moment we're just about okay, but we could do with one or two more if anybody is feeling so inclined.
Driver, that is.
Yeah.
They want more drivers.
And possibly one or two people in the office as well. So.
They want office, personnel, and drivers.
Oh, yeah.
So anyone out there who has those kind of qualifications, please contact Peter on the phone number provided. When we look at this organisation, what are your plans for this? Is it going to get bigger, or are you going to keep it where it is? Is this enough?
It depends a bit on demand rather than supply. Actually, last few years our membership has declined a bit.
Right.
So quite keen to get the message over that we welcome new members. I'm sure there must be other people in Selsey who could benefit from our services. So if they get in touch with us, either come into the office or ring the number that you spoke about, 605 115.
There you are.
Pleased to see them.
Has the demand gone up then for the buses, or
no?
It's levelling out.
It's levelled out, and it has probably slightly declined. I think partly because as more people have mobility scooters and so on these days. Yes, so they, from that point of view, there's possibly not so much need. And one or two of the organisations that we used to take people to have ceased to function for various reasons, so there has been a slight decline, but we can...
But it is a very good service, I mean, for those people who cannot have many options.
That's right.
So obviously this is a good service, even if it's level where it is. It's servicing this community.
Yeah. And,
we've got a relative who lives in Caterham in Surrey.
Yes.
She came down here and we explained the service, and she saw the bus go past. And she thought, what a marvellous service, you know, for people to get out for just £10 a year. I mean,
Yeah.
It's fantastic
So
value for money.
we've heard similar comments from other relatives that have come down from other areas. There are similar organisations in other parts of the country, but they don't function in quite the same way, I don't think.
Well, I think something will be unique to its own area, won't it?
Yes.
Is there any other kind of message you want to get out, Peter, while you're here?
One thing to the current members of the Venture Club, I'd like to remind them that our annual general meeting is on the 23rd of June at 2:30 in St Peter's Church Hall, and we'd be very pleased to see any of them there. So, other than that, if anybody wants to contact us for any reason, our phone number is 605 115, and our premises are next door to the co-op.
And that's where your office is as well?
The office is there as well, yes.
Right. Right. Thank you, Peter, for coming in, and we'll see you next time to hear how it's all gone.
Right. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about the Venture Club.
Okay, Peter. Welcome again to another edition of Video Watch with me, Dennis Cowan, and we shall be reviewing several more films, old and new. And besides that, we will be looking at the top 20 as supplied by Steve of Reflex DVD, and then we'll be going to be looking at the review of another film supplied by Selsey Off License and Andy. Today we have Non-Stop. This is a film starring Liam Neeson, a 2014 thriller, somewhat in the vein of Taken and Taken 2. Leeson is a former US federal marshal on board a plane, so it is set up in the skies, and this is where all the action takes place. Someone has planted a device that will kill the passengers, and they want a ransom of $150 million. A passenger will be killed every 20 minutes if he does not comply. Neeson is in his element here, and his usual convincing way. He must stop the threat and find the ones responsible. It also stars the wonderful Julianne Moore. This is a 15-rated film, and it is an action and thriller film, and quite good. We then go on to the second film, which is called Identity. This is a 2003 film starring Ray Liotta and John Cusack. It's another thriller set in a rainstorm this time and a motel, and the travellers who sort of collide at this spot. One by one they are being killed, and no one knows why or what is their connection to this rendezvous with death. 10 strangers, yes, 10 strangers, and who is it among them doing this? They must uncover the secret and discover the killer's identity. This is a fairly good film. It stands up to criticism, and it stands up to anything else you might throw at it. We go on then to the third film, which is The Lone Ranger, starring Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter and Tom Wilkinson. This western with Depp playing Tonto, still looking like Keith Richards at times, and brought to the screen by the Pirates of the Caribbean team, relates to his story of the days he spent with the Lone Ranger as the sidekick Indian Tonto. It's wham bam and laden with effects, which are again top notch. It is lightweight, corny, but very watchable because it is big budget, and this is a 12 rating. We go on to the fourth film, which is called Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and this is part of a trilogy. This yet again stars Johnny Depp with Antonio Banderas in a gung-ho Mexican shootout. It's 2003, so it's some time ago, and it's brought to the screen by Robert Rodriguez, who did Dusk Till Dawn, another trilogy. He brings a number of stars together again, including Mickey Rourke and Willem Dafoe, plus Danny Trejo in this final part of a trilogy, with lots of gunfights, bar brawls, and gunman El Mariachi. This has got all the action you could think of. It's an absurd thing, but it's good, and its rating is 15. We then go on to the next film, number 5, and we're in the kind of horror chiller zone. And this one is called The Attic, 2014, described as a nail-biting chiller. It's one of those there's something in the house things, which has been done several times, and this time it's in the attic, which has also been done. But if you're expecting ghosts, there isn't one of them. Critics pointed out that this was implausible that a new family could buy a house and not know that somebody was living there as well, which is rather weird. It does have its moments as things are moved and there are sounds in the night, and this will while away the 90 minutes successfully, so if you fancy that one. It is an 18 rated picture, so note that. And then we move on to film number 6, which is The Beast of the Alamo, a 2012 horror flick starring Eric Estrada, him being one of those motorcycle cops in a series called Chips, shown in the 80s, of 2 Californian bike officers who used to go around solving just about any crime. However, here, in his later days, he plays a cop who is suddenly confronted by incidents involving beasts that are hunt and kill. One at first could think it was a werewolf-type picture, but it turns out to be a strange, hybrid, vicious dog-like beast. DEA agent Estrada must assemble a team to fight them, even if it means enlisting a drugs gang, his normal target, of course. The effects are okay, they're not great, but it is a watchable horror. And this has got a rating of 15. We now move on to film 7, and this is called A Haunting in Salem, 2011. It's good quality and a decent story, and surprisingly presented by the Asylum team, of all companies. I usually don't recommend them, but I did say there's one in a huge batch that may be possible, and this is one of them. It's a relatively unknown cast, and in the main it holds together. The only odd casting I began to doubt was the sheriff, the father in the family. He was short and looked like the grandfather. But setting this aside, the effects were competent and it moved along well. So there you are. That is actually not too bad. And you might be able to see that or purchase it somewhere for maybe £1 from Pound Stretcher. We go on to number 8, a more serious film, and this is 12 Years a Slave, talked about, but not talked about now. It's a 2014 film starring Brad Pitt, Benedict Cumberbatch, who played Sherlock Holmes, and Michael Fassbender. Chiwetel Ejiofor, and I probably got the name wrong, plays the slave, who was cruelly deceived and kidnapped into abuse and slavery. What you see here is the white man's inhumanity, the racial cruelty, and how the authorities were slow to do anything. They even let the kidnappers off when they were brought to court. It is a must-see film. But sadly, judging from how quickly it has disappeared from the public forum, this might be one of those truths the white man would rather not be reminded of, and as usual prefer to believe that it never happened because it reveals too much about themselves. This is, of course, a true story of Solomon Northup and what he was subject to during a period of 12 years in the USA. So, I mean, that is a damn good film. We now move on to the top 20 supplied by Reflex DVD and Steve. And on this week's list, we have number 1, a new title called Unbroken. This is a 15. It's a military thing of being caught by the Japanese and being made a prisoner and spending it at war camp. He becomes the target of a brutal guard, and it stars Jack O'Connell, and that's all I can tell you on that one. At number 2, we've still got them holding in Dumb and Dumber 2, so it's still riding high. They're still getting that one. And then we have Home Sweet Hell, which I don't know at number 3. At number 4, we have another film called Wild. I shall look into that next week. At number 5, we have American Sniper. It rather says everything for itself there. Sniper. Obviously, there is a sniper. At number 6, we have Testament of Youth. At number 7, we have another new one, which is Big Hero 6. And then at number 8, we have Shaun the Sheep, the movie. Oh, yes. At number 9, we have Pinocchio. And at number 10, we have A Most Violent Year. So it is changing in this list. And then, of course, we've got the wonderful film of Stephen Hawking at number 11, The Theory of Everything. At 12, and this is quite a drop for this film, Exodus. So it's dropped all the way to 12. At number 13, we have Whiplash, and this is a 15 certificate. This is about a jazz drummer who meets an instructor who pushes for perfection, which spirals into an obsession. It's obviously a drama, is this one. At 14, we've got Automata. At 15, we've got The Signal. And then we go into fantasy or fancity with Into the Woods, a fairy tale starring Meryl Streep. It's a PG rating, and it sort of includes Cinderella and sort of things. That's number 16. At number 17, we've got Zulu, which I've told you about before. At number 18, we've got Birdman, and this has the bits of being seen on the TV, and this is the Michael Keaton thing with Edward Norton and Naomi Watts, and Keaton plays an ex-movie stuntman, so if it's him, then it probably will turn out to be okay. So that is the top 20 from Reflex DVD. We then move over to the Selsey off license, and most of his list, which I told you of recently, is the same. Some have moved out of position, but then again, Andy does a lot of films from the past besides some new titles. And to review this week, I reviewed Horrible Bosses, which is a 15 certificate, and it stars Jason Bateman, Colin Farrell, Jennifer Aniston, which is amazing, and Donald Sutherland in a small part. And Colin Farrell looked incredibly awful in this one. It is, in a way, a sort of 9-to-5 film where the employees are treated like dirt and made to feel abused and humiliated, which we saw with the secretaries with the Hurley film. This is a mix of lewdish comedy, a bit of thrills, and a murder plot that goes badly awry. Our 3 put-upon guys go through hell, trying to get a better deal. There's lots of sex language and activities, so beware of that if you're going to show that with some kids around. And even so, it has a good pace and not bad at all. So having said that, get down to the off-license, Selsey off-license, rent it, and get your drinks and crisps to watch this raunchy action comedy. And Andy's got a lot of good wine there, so anybody into the wine, go and check it out. So that's it. That's my lot for this week. And I will be back next week so that you can hear more of the reviews. And see you then.